Hello fellow collectors, today I'll be sharing a closer look at the 1/43rd scale 2010 Porsche 911 GT3 RS, a March release from the premium model brand Makeup. Without further ado, let's dive right into this model. Makeup's Resin models rarely disappoint when it comes to accuracy. This mold is derived from their signature 3D scanning of the actual car, followed by meticulous fine-tuning. When comparing it alongside profile photos of the real car, the body lines flow naturally and the proportions are spot on. Shooting this with a 50mm lens from an angle similar to real car photos, we can see there are virtually no issues with the shape. Even the curvature of the wings is highly faithful to the original. My color features the classic GT3 RS white body with red decals. The actual car's paint code is Carrera White, which is a very clean, slightly cool-toned white. Under nature light, the color reproduction of the model is solid. The clear coat gives it a porcelain-like, polished texture that mimics a real car beautifully. The distinctive red decals of the 997 generation are crisp and sharp without any of the uneven edges you sometimes see with quarter decals. Aside from the paint thinning out slightly and showing the base at the sharp edges of the panel lines, the overall paint job is quite impressive. Now let's examine the build quality. The resin material allows for extremely sharp panel lines, and areas like the doors, door handles, bumpers, and wipers are highly detailed. Compared to the 997.1, a major upgrade of the actual .2 was a shift from a 5-lug nut setup to a racing-style center lock, a detail perfectly replicated here. The RS lettering on the center lock is legible, the wheel's precision is excellent, the brake discs feature cross-drilled details, and the difference in wheel offsets between the front and the rear is accurately represented. Moving to the front, the intake grills on the front bumper are delicate separate pieces with a strong sense of depth. The three-dimensional structures of the headlights and fog lights are exquisite. The radiator intakes on the front bonnet are separate parts, and the indicators on the front wings are rendered with dimensional clear parts. At the rear, the carbon fiber texture on the massive rear wing is exceptionally fine and protected by a clear coat. Even the bolts on the struts are recreated. Just like the headlights, the tail light structure has impressive depth and clear color separation. The model designation decals are neatly applied. The engine vents and the rear wheel air ducts are very three-dimensional, and the beautifully detailed center exit dual exhausts provide a perfect finishing touch to the whole car. Looking at the interior, the windows are highly transparent, making their thickness almost unnoticeable. The standard RS roll cage is finished in red, adding a nice visual highlight to the otherwise all-black interior. You can also spot nice details on the dashboard, gear lever, and handbrake. One thing to note, the acrylic display case this time fits the base noticeably tighter than my previous purchases. You have to apply a bit of force to open it and align it carefully when putting it back. This does help prevent accidental damage to some extent, but you still absolutely need to hold it by the base. Grabbing only the clear cover will almost 100% result in dropping and damaging the model. As part of the Eidolon series, the initial retail price for this model is 35,200 Japanese yen. You can get a 10% discount by pre-ordering from their official online store. This iconic red and white livery of the 997 has a higher production run than other colorways, capped at 120 units. I managed to pick up mine from a third-party e-commerce platform for slightly less than 10% off price, which I think is quite an attractive deal. When this video goes live, it is still available on the official store. However, if you reside outside of Japan, your local stockist might not receive a sufficient location, so if you like this color, it's best to act fast. By the second half of the year, there likely won't be much room to choose your preferred color. It's worth mentioning that Makeup released 997.1 GT3 RS in the red-white livery in late 2021. and I've hardly ever seen any colorway of that model on the second-hand market. Collectors are clearly holding on to them. I believe this 997.2 version will see a similar level of rarity in the future. To sum up, while constrained by the scale, leading to minor imperfections in the white paint finish on certain sharp edges, this 911 overall meets expectations. Design-wise alone, I think the 997 brilliantly bridges the classic 996 and the modern 991. Even today, the design language of this generation's GT3 RS remains unique and full of charm. If you missed out on the 997.1 generation like I did, don't let this opportunity slip by. What do you think of this 911? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. Until our next encounter.